Hi everybody, I'm Lloyd, the CEO and co-founder of Garage Grown Gear.
And I'm Miranda, an outdoor content creator on YouTube.
Welcome to the Shakedown, a series where we break down the backpacking kits of outdoorsy folks that you know and love. Why, one might ask, to understand why they bring what they bring, and to help you as you navigate the wild world of ultralight backpacking gear. After we're done going through it, we'll share what Miranda's base weight is at the end. So, Miranda, before we dive into everything that is your backpacking kit, Can you describe your style of backpacking gear?
Totally, yeah. So when I first started backpacking, I was very much like a traditional backpacker. But now I would say that I lean more towards ultralight backpacking gear with a focus on like certain luxury items. There are definitely things that I really like to have at camp. I would say that I strike a pretty clean balance between comfort on trail and comfort at camp.
Okay, Miranda, let's start off with your big three, and then we'll move through different categories as we go.
Cool. Let me start by showing my pack, because it is the most obvious thing. And
well, that is the most Miranda pack that has ever existed. I
love that you say that, because that's essentially how I wound up with this pack. So this pack that I have here is from a company called LiteAF. This is the ECOPAK 46-liter curve. It's a 46-liter pack. The material that is made out of is called ECOPAK. This company, LiteAF, makes all sorts of custom-made backpacks that are custom printed. One day, I've been tagged in this, people tag me in comments of some post, like hundreds of them. It turned out to be a photo that LiteAF had shared of this backpack, and people were just like, Miranda has to own that bag, because I really like color. So I was like, oh my gosh, this pack's awesome. So Chris from LiteAF reached out to me and he was like, hey, I know that you don't use a ultralight pack right now. I was using a Flash 55 from REI. It's a really standard pack. He was like, but I'd love to make you one if you were interested in that. Wound up with this bag here. It is beautifully made. I love it so much. There's tons of really cool features about it. Huge stretch pocket on the front here. On the bottom, there is a pocket as well, which is where I have my camp shoes, which we'll get to later. I have a sleeping pad attachment strap that is quite long. But this strap here, I can put a full Z-Lite folding accordion style sleeping pad here, really big.
And it's impressive just even looking at the mesh on the outside of this big stretch pocket. Like you can see a couple of dings on here, but structurally, it's still great and clearly has taken some use.
Massive side pockets as well, with a little cinch here. Two smaller pockets, the same on both sides. I've got a stretch pocket up top here, big pocket down there. This bag did come with two mesh, almost inline strap pockets that were on the shoulder straps. I removed those and I replaced them with a water bottle pocket from Gossamer Gear. This is the Bottle Rocket and the Gossamer Gear phone pocket. There's no hip belt pockets, but what I carry is this, which is a matching hip belt, or hip, what do you call this? Fanny pack. This thing's awesome. Obviously,
yeah, what kind of stuff do you keep inside there?
Well, right now all I have in
here... I feel like this is the invasive, what is in your mother's purse?
Sorry to be...
No!
Sorry.
Dang it.
All I have in here right now is my Garmin InReach. What I do generally carry in here is my mic pack and which for filming, I carry my mic pack with batteries in this bag here. And then I'll carry snacks and things like that as well. Hey. You'll see right now when you look at my bag, it doesn't look that full, right? It's not that full. That's because there's no food in it, right? Sure. So I still have tons of space to fill this. I find that a 46-liter pack for me is pretty good for basically all trips.
In addition to the pack, we've got some of our other essentials, often referred to as the big three. This is the first thing that we've got up here. What is this?
Okay. So this is part of my sleep system. This is my Zenbivy. I'm actually gonna grab this from you as well.
Yeah,
do it. Okay, because I think that these two things need to be talked about together. So this is a new item for me. I tried a Zenbivy recently, and it has just it's kind of blew my mind, honestly. If you're not familiar with how Zenbivy works, it's basically you take a sleeping pad, you slide a sheet with a hood over the sleeping pad, that attaches to the sleeping pad, and then Zenbivy makes quilts that then attach to the sheet. So what you wind up with is basically not just having something that is attached to your sleeping pad in the way a standard quilt would, or something that just sits on top of your sleeping pad. You have an entire system that stays together regardless of how you move around inside of it. And that makes a massive difference. I have been struggling with like back pain and issues with sleep for quite some time. The first time that I slept in a Zenbivy, I was so struck with how well I slept in the morning that I almost felt like speechless. While all their stuff is designed to work together, you don't have to use everything Zenbivy. So they actually make adapters for quilts so that you can like attach these things to your quilt to turn it into something that works with Zenbivy's whole system. So they're very much about making their products work for backpackers who just want to like test out the whole technology without having to just buy everything brand new from Zenbivy. But I have all Zenbivy stuff here, so I'm gonna show it to you. So this is the Ultralight sleeping pad from Zenbivy. Sleeping pad on the inside here is extremely comfortable. It's a hexagon style sleeping pad. And the stuff sack that it comes in is also the inflator bag. So this bag actually doubles in size. You can inflate the sleeping pad. Inside here, I have my Ultralight quilt. This is a 10-degree quilt. I have the Ultralight down sheet. My quilt is the Muscovy down. And then I also have their pillow, which is a little pillowcase.
I love their little pillow.
It's
really cozy.
It's really
it doesn't look
cozy.
like it should be as cozy as it actually is.
Truly. Yeah. I would say that Zenbivy is one of those things that I didn't know that I needed or even wanted to try. And now that I've tried it, it's definitely, for me, a game changer.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so my tent is the NEMO Hornet Elite OSMO one-person tent. I got this tent when they first came out with it, and I just haven't really looked back. I love NEMO's tents. I just love the gear that they make so much. The Hornet Elite OSMO is very comfortable for a one-person tent. It's a semi-freestanding tent. It's easy to set up. It's fast to set up. I love the light color because it's just so easy to see inside of. It is a double wall tent, so you can just like use it without the rain fly, which is nice. And I think what NEMO's done really well with this tent is they've made something that is incredibly light, but very like comfortable, you know?
Like you're not compromising with
Not
this.
at all.
Like it's, this is the first piece of, gear that we have a direct overlap on, because this is my go-to core tent as well, because similarly, as soon as I started using it, I was just like, right, this is easy. I don't need to worry about like pitch angle. I don't need to worry about like, how, if my trekking pole is right, or it's just like incredibly simple. And usually I'm getting into camp late, and just having something that's simple, easy, that I don't have to really think about is ideal. Let's dive into the next category of taking a look at your cook system.
Oh yeah.
Okay, where do you want to start?
Let me start with my food storage.
Sure.
So I alternate between using a Bear can, the BearVault, which I adore, and using the Adotec bear bag. My bag is packed from a trip that I just got back from in New Zealand, and there are no bears or any large critters to be concerned of at all in New Zealand.
Just possums.
Just possums and birds, so that's it. So I didn't want to bring my bear can, so I brought the Adotec bear bag. This is something you actually introduced me to a few years ago.
This is our best-selling product on GarageGrind.
And for really good reason. One thing that I think Adotec has done really well with their bags that other bear bag companies have not considered is made everything critter proof. You might not know this, but I didn't know this for the longest time, but some bear bags that are considered like Grizzly or bear proof are not actually critter proof. Adotec's is.
When I first got samples of this, I was like, this is stiff Dyneema. But like over time, and you can see that it wears, but it doesn't, like that just softens up the Dyneema. It doesn't make it less bear proof.
It's true.
It still holds its rating, and so if you get it right out of the box and it's like a little stiff, it's not gonna stay that way. And then you pair it with this guy.
Yes, I use it with a heavy duty smell-proof bag. The biggest issue really with bear bags is that bear canisters in general, they're not smell-proof, so like animals can smell them, and if you can keep an animal from being able to smell it, they're less likely to go after it. So that thing fits nicely inside there, and that's how I pack my food.
Okay, got some other fun goodies over here. Another thing that holds food.
Yeah, really fast. This is how I store my lunch in my bag. It's also how I keep my meals warm while they're rehydrating, but I'll like put my lunch and snacks and things into this, which is the Big Sky International Rehydrating Food Bag, probably something like that. And so yeah, this is like a little insulating bag that helps to keep my meals warm while they rehydrate. Mine is really well loved. It's falling apart. And then my spork, which is the TOAKS Titanium Spork. Then my pot. So TOAKS pot, little TOAKS bag. I've got my pot. I do carry a cup with me, completely unnecessary, but I like it. And then it pops out. You can open it up. And then in the bottom of my pot, normally I'll have fuel and a little microfiber towel, and my stove, which is the Soto Windmaster stove.
Love it. Man, that stove has gotten to be so popular.
I tested a bunch of stoves at one point and I found that this was the one that seemed to boil water the fastest, work best in the wind, as the name implies. And it has a piezo on it.
Love it.
This is from...
Is there a trend here?
Yeah, can you tell? Seriously. There's a lot of like pride themed stuff in my gear for sure. This is a backcountry exposure bag, but I bet you've never seen this before, have you?
I've not. No, we don't sell that particular variation, unfortunately.
So Devin from Backcountry Exposure made this especially for me. I made like an offhand comment when I tested a bunch of his bags about wanting like a rainbow food bag, which is just like kind of an ongoing joke with me about all gear. Is like, if only it came in rainbow, you know?
Right.
And then like on my doorstep showed up this bag, basically.
That's awesome.
And so yeah, this for me is something that it's a lot easier to pack this than it is to pack the Adotec when it's full. So sometimes I'll just keep my food in here so I can easily access it. But then when I'm storing it, I'll just chuck all of it into that bag because I can fold that flat, I can slide it in. Easy process. Hygiene Kit. Let me start with this because it's a new one for me and it's not one I'm maybe like 100% sold on.
Sweet.
So this is the Pact Outdoors Trowel and Poop Kit. Tube kit? Yeah, poop kit. So this is a trowel. This comes apart like this. You screw that on there like that, and then you stab and dig. It does not look super effective.
Motion.
I will say it's actually really effective. I've test dug holes with it and it actually works really well. I got this because I wanted to try something a little bit different with my poop kit, see if I could make this whole situation just a little bit smaller and easier to pack, because I had a bunch of like other sort of stuff sacks floating around with poop stuff in them. In here, I also keep a little doggy bag in that little compartment right there. This Pact kit is designed to carry rehydrating wet wipes, which are basically more like toilet paper than they are wet wipes. It's just paper that is easily compostable, and also mycelium tabs. Then my Kula Cloth, which is also worth mentioning. This is clean, I promise. But this is my Kula Cloth. It's attached to a little thing. This is, what is this called? Badge, retractable badge.
I used to have one of those when I was a teacher.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I could ding the door.
Exactly, yeah, it's a ding the door thing. So this goes on my pack and I will reach behind, because I don't take my pack off when I pee. If you don't know what a Kula Cloth is, this is something that if you are someone who squats to pee, is like incredible, because you pee and then you like dab yourself dry with this. You dab, don't wipe, dab. Lesson learned the hard way. Highly recommend a Kula Cloth.
Yep.
This is one that Anastasia made for me specifically because I really love sardines. Well, she didn't make it for me specifically.
Did not know that.
Oh, dude, I love a sardine.
Okay. Do you bring them backpacking?
Oh, absolutely. This is my my little hygiene kit right now. So in here, also something that's changed recently, I've started carrying a travel toothbrush. And then also in here, I have 2 hair ties in case I lose one for my braids. I have toothpaste tabs in a little dime bag. Wait, can I say that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. A little tiny baggie. This is my first aid kit. This goes in the side pocket of my bag that I showed you, that one of those top pockets.
Easy accessible in case something happens.
Yeah, whether by me or someone else if I need to grab it. I will, in one of those top pockets on my LiteAF, my first aid kit goes, and the other one, my toiletries kit and my poop kit go. I'm gonna go through hydration really quick.
I wonder what water bottle that Miranda brings while backpacking.
Yeah. Okay, so my water bottle, obviously, is the Migo. I have recently started carrying one 1-liter Migo and one smaller 700 or 750 milliliter Migo.
Cool.
I'll keep the smaller one in my shoulder strap pocket. I'll keep this one in the side pocket. And then for water filtration, I carry the Sawyer Squeeze filter with the connector cap that allows me to screw this onto the lid of my water bottle. And I carry the Sawyer Canuck partnered water bag, which I just think it's so good.
Are there any particular pieces of clothing that you are like vehemently, this is great, this is something that people should check out?
I mean, I'm wearing it, I think. I didn't even really think about packing this. Yeah, so the fleece that I'm wearing is my standard backpacking fleece. This is the Sambob Pride fleece that I love this thing so much. I have 2 Sambob hoodies. This one probably gets more use simply because I like the colors on it. We've talked about cold butt cheeks before. If you have ever backpacked and felt you have cold butt cheeks, which is an issue that I frequently have, may I recommend homemade fleece shorts.
Wow. Dang.
Yeah, listen, I sewed these up like in an afternoon from a really cheap fleece blanket that I bought.
Okay, butt warmers, Migo water bottle, ultralight sardines. A complete product line.
What else do you need, right?
Any particular accessories that you really enjoy bringing along, or that have become kind of mainstays of your pack?
There's just 3 things that I want to mention.
Love it.
If that's okay. You're right about the Thermodrop. That's just a little thermometer that I carry on my pack. But I think the 3 things that I would consider to be mainstays would be my
Sip
pad.
For those cold butt cheeks.
Those cold butt cheeks. Camp shoes.
Ooh.
And
Little Zero shoes.
the least ultralight thing in my entire pack, my lanterns.
Oh, fun.
2 lanterns here. This one, unfortunately, I don't think has batteries in. Oh, it does have
Hey,
batteries
it did
in.
a thing.
This is not really a product so much as a combination of products, but this is what I use to turn my water bottle into an ultralight, or not an ultralight, but into a diffusion lantern.
Brilliant.
So when this is full of water, this diffuses light really well.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Is this a product that you're going to be selling with that?
No. All this
Saying you could.
is a bottle boot.
Uh-huh.
And a puck light. This is not light by any means. Sorry, let me hold that. Like, it's not it's not heavy.
Yeah. But that's a cool, it's a
Yeah.
cool product concept.
And it cost me $3.
Nice. It's good.
And it makes
good
a really
hack.
big difference. I get a lot of questions about that. This is totally something that for me has become a necessity because of filming at camp when it's dark. So string lights, super long chain of string lights. Yeah, and this is also a lantern. So this can hang up. It's a solar power bank as well, so I can use it to charge stuff. This is totally not a necessity, and it is heavy, and it is the one thing in my pack that consistently I go, gosh, could I just get away with not bringing that this time? You know, and I'll be like, maybe I won't, maybe I'll leave it behind. And every single time I like pose that question, the person that I'm backpacking with will be like, no, bring the string
along,
lights,"
yeah.
you know, so.
I'd like someone I was backpacking with to also bring it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't bring it, but I'd like for you to.
That is like exactly the case.
Miranda, thanks for showing us your kit. Love it. I mean, I feel like you do a really great job of balancing like comfort with, in some areas with ultralight minimalism and others, into finding a kit that really works well for you. What was the overall base weight of your pack?
Well, the overall base weight of my pack with the gear that I've talked about, as well as several other things that are in here that I haven't yet talked about and I'm not going to talk about, is 13 pounds.
Hey,
So,
nice.
which I think is pretty good for a
It's great because there's no ideal base weight.
There you
There's
go.
just a base weight that works for you.
There you go.
Yeah.
No ideal base weight.
Miranda, thanks so much for coming on this first edition of the Shakedown. And if you like this type of content, be sure to like and subscribe, because we're going to be having other people, other friends of Garage Grown on the channel to show you what type of gear they go backpacking with. So until next time, thanks, Miranda.
Yeah.